What's going on, everybody? This is Emerald Knight Leon back with another deck analysis. I want to first apologize. I did not realize that there was a terrible echo distortion in both of my unboxing videos. Apparently, what I found out is that my webcam microphone turned itself on somehow. I don't know how, but it somehow turned itself on and OBS decided to input it into the system. Because of this, there was two microphones going back to back and they were very close to each other, which is why the echo is sounding so distorted. Again, I'm very sorry. I have put the explanation in the description for both of those videos. I have even labeled them in the title of those videos. I've tried to see if there's anything I can do to fix the audio. Unfortunately, with my limited skills in editing, it's not something I can really do. And from what I have been trying, I can't seem to fix the audio at all. So I really want to apologize for that. Hopefully this will teach me a valuable lesson in for the future. Moving on, though. Today's deck analysis is actually going to be on Gammamon. Gammamon is one of the more, I don't want to say casual deck, because some of the cards here are kind of expensive. Specifically, this promo Gammamon and this Gammamon, which you can only get from buying the BT-10 booster boxes. These were the winning cards for certain store tournaments, and this was also a part of that same line of packs with the promo Gammamon. So these are not casual, but not, I mean, it is competitive to a degree, but not as competitive as, say, Crossheart or Blue Flare or some of the other decks out there. But I wanted to start off this set with a little something, a bit more easygoing before we get into the minutia, the multiple other decks that are going on with this. So starting things off, we are running Gammamon as our Digi-Egg. Gammamon here is a good card, specifically because it works with all of our Gammamon evolutions. Its effect, basically, it's once per turn when attacking. If it has 6,000 DP or more, draw 1. Every one of our level 4 Gammamon evolutions has 6,000 DP. Cannon Mon has 8,000. And Chimera also has 8,000. Moving on, our rookies, we're running 4 copies of BT-8 Gammamon, 4 copies of Promo Gammamon, 3 copies of Promo Gammamon, and 4 copies of Promo Gammamon. If you have a full playset of this particular Gammamon, run it. Just take out maybe one of these. I only was able to get 3 of these. But going forward, Gammamon here from BT-8, once per turn. During your turn, when you play a red tamer, draw 1. We're running nothing but red tamers, and it has a inheritable of, if this Digimon has 6,000 DP or more, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less. This isn't going to do much, but if your opponent is, say, if you're in a Crossheart matchup, and your opponent is playing a lot of the level 3 Crossheart cards, those have about 3,000 DP and less. So for the most part, Starmons and Shoutmons should be easily taken care of if needed. Moving on, we are running 4 copies of Promo Gammamon here. This is the first Promo Gammamon. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head where you got this from. I believe it wasn't a pre-release. It was a pre-release, I think, that you got for participating. I think it was BT-8 or BT-7. Can't remember. This one is a 1 cost to Evo. Not the greatest, but if you were going first and that's your only rookie in your hand, you can choke your opponent that way. It has the effect of, during your turn, while you have a red tamer in play, this Digimon can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. This is actually mainly to be used with Canon Weiss, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Moving on, we have 3 copies of promo Gammamon. This was a tournament pack Gammamon. It has the inheritable of while you have Hero Amanokawa in play, this Digimon gets plus 2,000. Essentially, this is going to give our Canon Weiss up to 10,000. With some help, we might be able to get it to 12. But moving on, though, we have Gammamon from the BT-10 booster boxes. This is the promo one. On play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2,000 DP or less. And the inherited, when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2,000 DP or less. Again, it's a similar thing to the BT-8 Gammamon. Moving on to our level 4s, we are running 4 copies of Chaos Gammamon, 4 copies of Wezen Gammamon, 4 copies of Gulus Gammamon, and 4 copies of Beetle Gammamon. So, let's start with Chaos Gammamon. Chaos Gammamon is your blue Gammamon. He cannot be blocked when attacking. He digivolves for 2 off of Gammamon specifically, so he can basically digivolve onto your red Digimon. If needed, you could hard play him. He is a 5 cost. Moving on, we have Wezen Gammamon, who has Piercing. Gulus Gammamon is a bit more interesting. It came out in BT-10. All turns, while this Digimon has a card with Gammamon in its name and its Digivolution cards, it gains Retaliation. And then on deletion, you may play 1 Gammamon from your trash, suspended without paying its memory cost. An interesting effect. Finally, we have Beetle Gammamon. This has Blitz when digivolving. Not much more needs to be said about this. Moving on, though, we do have our level 5s. We are running 2 copies of Chimeramon. I have a limited amount of Chimeramons. I've only ever been able to pull 3, and I have no intention of dropping $15 for more. And we're running 4 copies of Canon Weissmon. Canon Weissmon is a 4 cost Evo. However, it becomes a 3 cost if you're digivolving onto a level 4 Digimon with Gammamon in its name. During your turn, once per turn, when one of your tamers becomes suspended, this Digimon gets 2,000 DP for the turn. Then, if this Digimon has 12,000 DP or more, it gains security attack plus 1 for the turn. So, how this is going to work out is, say you have this hero. You're going to attack. You're going to suspend this hero, giving plus 2,000 to Canon Weissmon. Say Canon Weissmon is on top of the promo Gammamon. That gives him plus 2,000 again. He is now at 12,000. Combined with Canon Weissmon's effect, that is another 2,000, bringing him to 14,000 for 2 checks. If you are able to have this hero out, say 2 of these, that will give you the ability to suspend both of them. Because Gammamon is in Canon Weiss's evolution line, he gets security attack plus 1 for each of those heroes, meaning he is swinging into your opponent's security at 14,000 for a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4 checks. This is why we're running 4 copies of this hero, because in some cases you might be able to completely clear out your opponent's security. In a way, it is very similar to, say, Grandis Kawaga X, OTK. Now, are you going to be able to get it all the way? Maybe. Who knows? It depends, really. Meanwhile, though, Canon Weiss has another effect. All turns, this Digimon gains all effects of the cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards with Gammamon in their name. That means he gains when you play a red tamer, draw 1. He gains, while you have a red tamer in play, he can attack unsuspended Digimon. He gains, cannot be blocked. He gains piercing, retaliation. Even the on deletion of Gulus Gammamon, he gains blitz on that. He gains all of these on top of your inheritables, such as this Gammamon's 6,000 DP, deleting a 3000 DP, or this Gammamon's tooth deleting 2000 DP, including this Gammamon's gaining plus 2000. Cannon Weissmon is your main heavy hitter for this deck. He also does have an inheritable. This Digimon gains all effects of the cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards with Gammamon in their name. That means that if you did want to run a level 6, you could. And I will go over some level 6s I thought of that could work. Moving on, we are running 2 copies of Chimeramon. Since we are running essentially red, blue, green, and purple, Chimeramon can be used as a means of taking care of your opponent's security. Or not security, their board. Basically, you're going to DNA Digivolve your way into him. An example of this saying you have Beetle Gammamon and Wezen Gammamon out. You're going to DNA Digivolve both of those into Chimeramon, and Gulus Gammamon is in your trash. You'll be able to take Gulus Gammamon from your trash and place it under it as its Digivolution card. Because of this, you're going to have purple, blue, red. Plus the white, that is 4 Digivolution cards, which means not only are you going to be able to gain the plus 4000 during your turn on him, he's also going to inflict 4000 DP to all of your opponent's Digimon, or up to 4 of your opponent's Digimon, for each color he has. So that's 1000 for each. So Chimeramon does benefit from this deck. Moving on, I am running 3 copies of A Delicate Plan, just for the benefit of, if I'm going to swing in with Cannon Weiss or with Chimera, I want to be sure I'm not going to hit any options. And then also we're running 3 copies of Rowdy Rocker. Rowdy Rocker here is actually a card I feel I have not seen actually in any Gammamon decks. Basically how it works is you're going to take 1 red level 4 or lower Digimon from your hand and place it under one of your Digimon as its bottom Digivolution cards, and if you do, trigger draw 2. So not only are you going to get a draw off of it, you're going to be able to guarantee your Cannon Weiss is going to get an extra effect from any of your Gammamons. Moving on, we are running 3 copies of Memory Fixer Hero. So essentially you're going to go to 3 memory with his effect, and then when you attack with a Digimon that has Gammamon in its name or is a level 5 or higher, you can suspend him to have one of your Digimon get plus 2000 DP for the turn. Finally, we're running 4 copies of the promo hero Amanokawa. If you were able to get this, great job. If you weren't able to get this, I am sorry to hear that. Because as of right now, and I am actually in the middle of recording this, I am looking this up. Because I want to make sure I give you the right prices here. Let's see, Hiro Amanokawa. As of right now, he is running about $18 at the lowest listing on TCG Player. If you were not able to get your copies of him, I am very sorry. I really am. Because he is a great card for this deck. There are some other cards you could use in place of him, and I will talk about this particular card, but even that card can be expensive. And I'm very sorry. This is why I struggle to say this is a more casual deck. Because it isn't. And yet, unfortunately, it's also not top tier competitive. It's in my personal opinion, just from what I'm gathering, I'd say it's maybe a B tier at best. B plus maybe. Moving on though. Cards you could tech in. So, as I was mentioning, a certain Tamer, Tai Kamiya, is unfortunately $19 on TCG Player right now. I am very sorry. If you really wanted another way of getting him, you'd have to bank on getting him from your Starter Deck 11 packs from your BT-10 boxes. That is your best bet. Because each version of him is still running around $19. Probably the most expensive version is the BT-1 box topper, running at $25, lowest listing. Essentially what he does is, since your red Digimon, Canon Weissmon, is going to have 4 or more Digivolution cards, he's going to get Security Attack +1. It's also a memory setter. If you wanted to run any other Tamer, I would recommend the Starter Deck 1 Taikamiya, which is easier to obtain because of the new starter decks that have come out, giving you one copy of him. As for our other cards, though, if you're struggling with finding Tamers in your deck through draw power, this BT-10 Agumon is a decent card. It would have to take the place of one of your promos, but probably this Gammamon, since it's easier to get this one. Or even this one. This will basically let you find your Tamers. If you're also looking for your Tamers, the EX1 Agumon can do the same thing from when attacking. Solarmon is also a good card that I would recommend. If you have the room, have it. It is a great card, mainly to counteract against any Digi-Crossing. Whether it's Crossheart, Blue Flare, Bagra Army, Twilight, you cannot reduce play costs with Solarmon out, meaning Digi-Crossing becomes kind of useless, because your opponent's not going to be able to reduce the play cost for every material they use for Digi-Crossing. It's also a great card to prevent your opponent from, say, I don't know, dropping down a nuclear explosion that is Death Xmon. As for level 6s, BT-10's War Greymon with his Security Attack +1 for and not activating security cards or option cards, the Shine Greymon from BT4 and the Starter Deck 1 War Greymon are all good cards that I would recommend as a possible level 6 if, say, for example, you don't have Chimeramon. The reason, as I mentioned with BT1's War Greymon, you won't be checking any security skills from option cards that it checks. For the BT1 War Greymon, Starter Deck 1 Greymon, you're gonna, for every 2 Digivolution cards he has, gets an extra security check. With how many Digimon you might get, you get about 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, depending on how many Rowdy Rockers, 5, maybe even 6 cards under him. So not only are you going to get all of the extra effects, you're also going to be gaining extra security checks, potentially even clearing out your opponent's entire security. Shine Greymon is for a similar reason. Shine Greymon has the ability of when one of your red or yellow Tamers is suspended, it gets Security Attack +1. Every one of our Tamers here in this particular deck does suspend. We have 4 heroes, 3 heroes, each one has a suspending mechanic, meaning that we could essentially get enough suspending Tamers to increase the security checks to a full 5. This is why I recommend Shine Greymon, as it is a potential card that could be used to clear out the board. Not to mention, if you have multiple copies of this hero, you'd be able to upgrade his DP multiple times. Already with this particular Gammamon, you're going to get plus 2,000, bringing Shine Grey to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, depending on how many heroes you have. You understand what I'm saying. As for options, Atomic Megaloblaster is a good card to use, basically for board clearing potential. I would also recommend Offensive Plugin A if you're wanting to work more with security attack checks, Fireball if you're working for more draw power, and Lightning Joust if you're going for a bit of both DP increase as well as security attacking. If you are running level 6s, I would recommend Win Rate 60% as well as Blue Card. Win Rate specifically would mitigate most of the cost for, say, Starter Deck 1's War Greymon, which is a 4 cost. And then Blue Card would also let you reveal top 5 of your cards of your deck and Digivolve one of your Digimon into a non-white Digimon among them without paying its memory cost. If you were to come across your Canon Weiss and just Digivolve right into that, that's great. However, Blue Card also has the downside of, if you were to hit Chimeramon and nothing else, that's not good. Mind you, with how many Chimeramons you run in your deck, that probability can increase or decrease. And as I've mentioned, both Taikamiyas are viable options. Unfortunately, they are expensive options as well. If I were to maybe recommend a different card that you could use, maybe I would say the Tai Kamiya and Kari Kamiya card. It's a yellow-red tamer. You would be able to also tech in yellow cards at your discretion. Maybe add in some Sunrise Blasters in order to work with that. But that is it for this deck analysis. Gammamon is definitely a deck that I am interested in playing. I've already pretty much constructed the entirety of my deck. I just needed the last two Gammamon promo cards from the BT-10 booster boxes, which, if you've unfortunately seen the videos, I'm sorry for the audio, but I was able to get them, so there that is. But again, I wanted to apologize for the audio issues. I'm going to try not to have that ever happen again. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Share with me what you think of Gammamon. You know, is he a good character in Digimon Ghost Game? I like to think he is. Is he maybe too obsessed with chocolate? Probably. But I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.